minute. Who are you?
What's going on, everybody? Evan Money back again with JC the Blind Jedi.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
We are here with our UFC 260 predictions.
All right, man. Weren't we just here 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back into it.
Yeah. We're just gonna shoot straight off into let's get right into the card. The co-main event was pulled due to COVID issues, but other than that, I mean, the rest of the card is still stacked. You know, the prelims are looking good, and you know the main card is still going to be a good card. So, you want to go ahead and announce the first one?
Okay, so the first match: Jamie Malarkey versus Karma Worthy. This is what the lightweight bout. Yeah,
yes.
This is them at lightweight. Karma goes by the name of the Death Star. This is the only reason why I'm picking him. But he is a pretty decent fighter. However, I don't really know how to say this. They're both coming off a loss, though, aren't they?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, they're both coming off of a loss, so this is a real pick'em fight. Like I said, the only reason I'm really going with Karma over Malarkey is simply because he's named the Death Star, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. So obviously that would be it. What are you thinking on this one?
Well, I mean, both guys are strikers. Both guys like to keep it standing. You know, they've both predominantly got all their wins off of KOs and TKOs.
Yeah.
But again, both of them coming off of a loss. It really is kind of a pick'em thing. I'm going to go with Worthy as well, solely on the fact of he's a guy that really is more concerned with getting it done sooner. And that small octagon at the Apex plays a huge
Yes, it does.
That.
Yes, I do know that smaller ring does play a big difference in it. So yeah, we're gonna go both with Karma Worthy on this one, and then we're gonna go on to the next fight. So it is.
We got Jillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. First off, Maverick is a badass last name. So
yes, it is.
Anyway, you know, looking at this, I mean, you know, Maverick's coming off of a win.
And Jillian's coming off of a loss.
Yeah, so the hard part about this really is...
They're both submission artists, aren't they?
Yeah, and Maverick's got a little bit better in the stand-up game. I think the big issue is who's... If Maverick can keep it standing, I think she's got a really good shot here. If it goes to the ground, you never really know how those exchanges are going to turn out. Because anybody's jiu-jitsu can outweigh anybody being on top. And unless you're GSP, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of domination on top anyway. So, I personally, I'm going to go with Maverick. I think this is going to be one of those fights that kind of gets drawn out a little bit.
So, remember when we had two Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts in there last time? Remember Jandaroba with my favorite eye? And they spent most of the time standing up and fighting.
Yeah.
I think this is going to happen in the same exact way. I think we're going to have 3 rounds of that where maybe somebody gets a takedown in the last minute or something like that to try and steal a round. Jillian is 15 and coming off of a loss, so she's on her way down. Maverick is coming off a win, and I know she's on her way up. So I'm also taking Maverick. This isn't really that much to go off of, but yeah.
They're fighting at 125, and again, this is just a filler bout, getting people active again, being that this is the last fight where no fans will be there. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. They're going to be in Florida and then Texas, aren't they?
They're
wow.
already sold out in Jacksonville. So
that's not a surprise.
No.
I've always wanted to be Florida man.
Let's move on to the next. You want to go ahead?
Ooh, it's the Sugar Show. Sugar Shane O'Malley is going to be taking on Thomas Almeida. Wow. Okay, so didn't Almeida fight at 145 at one point?
Yeah.
I kind of remember him more at featherweight than I do here at bantamweight. So if he's cutting weight, yeah. To be totally honest, I am looking more at Almeida for this one over Sugar Sean. I like Sean O'Malley. I think he's great, but man, I totally got turned off after he had an injury, then he got knocked out, and then he just started talking and woofing. Also, that Tekashi 6ix9ine hair is just not doing it for me. So
I will say we got a phone ringing. All right, so sorry about that interruption there. No, I mean, you know, I didn't like the way that Sean kind of like deflected losing on the last fight there. Yeah. I'm a huge Sean O'Malley fan though, and in this
do you
fight,
think he rights the ship on this one?
I think he does. I think he comes back.
I think it's going to be. If it does, I think it's a 3-round, and he's going. What the heck, man? I got to bring my game up.
Yeah, this is going to be hard fought. I think this is, you know,
Thomas Almeida's got weight.
Yeah, Thomas is great, but I think the cut is going to play a factor here, and you know, look at TJ Dillashaw's how bad a cut can be.
Yeah.
Almeida did look good during the weigh-ins, but that doesn't mean that the weight cut was easy or good for him by any means. So there is that. I do think that Sean gets back on track here, but it is. I agree that it's going to be a hard-fought 5 rounds.
Yeah. This will not be easy. Like I said, I'm hoping that Almeida gets it. I will not be surprised if O'Malley wins. I'll give him the win. But on to the co-main event, because we don't have the 145 strike. Man, I was wanting Ortega to take that.
I was too.
Oh man, I hate Volkanovski. But on to Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque.
This fight could be a changing of the guard fight. Luque is coming up.
Yes.
He's been looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of him on The Ultimate Fighter. He wasn't like star, you know, like front and center because Kamaru Usman really shined.
Yeah.
Which, you know, love Kamaru, but, you know, Vicente is a devastating striker. And I'm saying all this while Tyron Woodley has been on the downslide. But as much as I'm praising Vicente, I'm going to go with Woodley on this, because if Woodley loses this, that's it. You know, ONE FC might be getting a new sign, Bellator might, or Woodley might just hang it up. I think this is a desperation fight for Woodley. He got his ribs hurt versus Covington, and he looked really weak versus Usman.
And Burns.
So
that's 3 fights in a row.
For me, you know, they have Woodley at 7, Vicente's at 10. I think for Woodley to even remotely have a chance of even like staying employed, he has to win.
So, I think so too. I think Alistair Overeem was 8.
Yeah.
Had that knockout loss and was cut within like 72 hours. So, Woodley, now let's face it, man. Oklahoma State, wasn't that where he went to wrestle? Yeah, Oklahoma State wrestler. Heck of a wrestler. I've actually seen him wrestle way back in the day. But and he's a great talent. He's one of those guys that was a wrestler first and learned the good striking and got the hands. I don't know where that guy's been. I don't know where it happened to him. Dude, this is not the same guy that beat Robbie Lawler in under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that I don't know what it is. I'm taking Vicente because he's on the rise. He's one of those guys. He reminds me of a Charles Oliveira. Just one of those mean grinders that can punch you and grapple you no matter what. So I'm gonna take Vicente. He's gonna take on Tyron. We'll see how this turns out. And on to the main event.
So for the undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship, we got the champ, the GOAT of the division, Stipe Miocic, versus Francis Ngannou. Now, Francis has been on a tear since his loss to Derek Lewis.
4 fights in a row, 4 knockouts in a row.
Yes.
Nothing that got past the first round.
We are seeing Francis back on track. Now, how he lost to Stipe was because Stipe definitely played a better chess match.
Oh yes, he did.
But Francis has been focusing a ton on takedown defense and on jiu-jitsu and grappling. And his coach said one of the funniest things in an interview that I heard was, we already know that you can knock people out. We already know that.
Uh-huh.
And if you didn't practice on that all camp, you would still be able to knock people out.
Yes.
And, you know, like I said, the octagon at the Apex is smaller, definitely better suited for strikers. And
there's nowhere near to run.
Yeah, Stipe is the GOAT. He's definitely made an argument to go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time across all promotions until John Jones starts his thing. But I'm going to take Francis in this. I think that Stipe is going to put up a good fight, but I ultimately think that Francis is going to show people that he can develop into the whole package. And remember, he hasn't been fighting for very long. So, and he's coming in a little bit heavier, but not as heavy as the last time. So I'm going with Francis. In what fashion? I'm hoping it's a devastating knockout because those are always fun to watch, but that's that.
Well, first of all, man, Ganu is so hard to pick against. I'm going to try, though. Stipe is a tactician. And the one thing that I've known about Stipe, watching him all these years, from the first time that he went that 3 rounds with Dos Santos and those split decision loss, that guy has gotten smarter every single fight.
Yeah.
Even when he lost to DC, he put down the next 2 times that DC came back. And he showed that he was a much better fighter. He even changed game plans mid-fight. That's impressive.
Yeah.
So I am going to pick Stipe based on veterans' experience. I think he will play the game to try and force. He doesn't have a lot of room to grapple, so I'm thinking he's going to use a cage. I think he's going to push Ganu and try to close space and do small stuff, because the moment he steps back, man, those sledgehammers are coming for him.
Yeah.
Those Ford Escorts are going to hit him at full speed, like they say. It's ridiculous. But I do think that Stipe can hold off the barrage for 25 minutes. And the only reason why I really, really want this is because I don't want the next matchup to be Francis versus John. I think that's a little ways on down the road. I would prefer that for like a summer in July in Vegas, to where we can go and do something like that. That's the only reason why. Other than that, I kind of think that Francis really is going to. I think there will be some points where he might kind of trip him up, and there might be, but if he can hold him, then great. But if it looks bad, I might have to tuck my tail in between my legs. So, with that having said, I'm going to pick Stipe. He's picking Francis.
So that is our predictions for UFC 260. The fun part about this is winner of this gets John Jones. That's pretty set in stone. Even if Stipe loses, Dana really didn't want to go into that too much. So that's going to be exciting. This card really has a lot of fights that could be real big, huge winning fights for the future where the UFC is going.
There's a lot of up-and-comers, just like we had in the December fight.
Yes.
We have a lot of up-and-comers. The big thing I see here is we have a chance to see whether or not these big up-and-comers are the real deal.
Yeah.
Especially with Sean O'Malley, and especially with Ngannou.
Yeah. And even Vicente Luque. He has the opportunity to start making a name and giving us a reason to want to see him against top 5 opponents.
Yes, you're right. You're right. And at that point, and where Tyron Woodley's the perfect gatekeeper to put him into the top 5.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
One other thing I want to touch on real quick. Obviously, for those of you that follow the sport, you already know this. I've known this for about a week or so. But those of you that don't and rely on this to kind of get some news, my boy Kevin Holland looked horrible against Robertson.
God!
So that hype train got derailed
Fast,
and nobody had a good impression of Kevin Holland after that. And I think Kevin Holland was probably embarrassed at that performance. But the biggest story is that Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira will be fighting for the 155 belt due to the fact that Khabib has officially retired.
29-0, baby. Call it a career. You know what? He's turning into a consummate coach. He looks like
he's actually going to help Rockhold on his return.
Oh, really? Well, so good for him.
That'll be
good for him. Good for Luke, because he needs to stop getting beat up by DC and Cain Velasquez and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. Now, what about the next one? Isn't it the rematch? Usman versus Masvidal 2.
Yes. And that, I think, is one of those fights that if you like Jorge Masvidal, I think you're going to be very disappointed. You already have that prediction right there from me. No, that'll be exciting. I know Dustin and Connor have officially been made, but not officially been announced.
Okay.
So the deal is,
they're going to do the
pretty
trilogy
much,
fight.
Yeah, the trilogy is going to happen. Date-wise is what I think Dana said at the press conference is trying to still get worked out.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's going to be again.
We got some stuff coming up.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. This is a great time to be a fan of the sport. You're seeing exactly how far the sport has come if you've been around for a while, and that's what we have. So with that being said, I mean, that was our predictions. Other news, I know I've been lacking in content other than the UFC stuff. That'll be changing. I've had quite a hectic couple of months, and I'm also working on getting newer equipment to make things a little bit better, and working on different merchandise as well. So, but yeah, with that being said, this is JC. He's blind and he's a Jedi. And I'm Evan Money, and we will see you with our UFC 260 reviews. So